Hello everyone, this is Walking Problem. This today is 6th of October 2021, 5:31 a.m. in Singapore time, which is GMT plus 8, which is exactly 12 hours difference from the east coast of United States. So it should be 5:30 p.m. in the east coast. Today I want to cover, for at least for this video, I want to cover about the Arizona audit. I created a video asking what is the status, what happened to the Arizona audit a few weeks ago, I think 2 weeks ago. So now, since then, around a week ago, the audit report came out. So what? So I actually watched the entire hearing, and the curious thing is actually how the media covered it. Because you just look at this headlines just for these YouTube videos. So Republican-backed Arizona audit confirms Joe Biden win for president. So ABC News also reported Arizona audit results reconfirm Biden victory over Trump. And then the Arizona Secretary of State blasts fake election audit. So if it's a fake election audit, that means this confirmation isn't real, right? See, bogus Arizona election audit backfires on Trump. Arizona recount changes. Okay, that's 2 months ago. So let's see again. Let's a refresh. But is this what really was reported in the audit? The left and the Democrats seems very, very determined to brush this audit under the carpet. So even if you look at the headlines, see, punch me if you heard this before, why the Arizona audit remains a late night punchline. And then the big lie continues even after Arizona election audit. See, then they don't understand why it demands election audit for Florida despite Trump's win. And then they say that audit backers turn on each other recount flop. Then they even fact check, did the election audit shows that Trump actually won Arizona? These are all fake news. These are all misinformation. For some, even disinformation. They're trying to divert your attention away from the audit, and they want you to just conclude based on, you see, multiple headlines. If you see, I search Arizona audit. If there's anyone that is not in depth and they just look at this kind of headlines, they don't even read the articles at all. They wouldn't even read the articles at all, and they will just base on whatever, they probably click one of them and just decide that, oh, that's the truth, that's what the audit is about. It's not. I went through the entire what is it, this 3 hours of video, the hearing. See, 3 hours of hearing. I went through the whole hearing. The audit is damning. It basically just shows that the election cannot be certified. The election is not foolproof, and there is too much discrepancy for the election to be seen as a valid election. You would not have passed any of the election standards around the world, around all the democratic countries around the world. You would not have passed, because they cannot even verify who are the ones that voted, and they cannot balance the number between voting or the request sent, request received to voted, and the ballots that exist. None of them is balanced. Then how can this be an election that is without fraud, or something that you can trust? So you just look at the headlines. Falsely claims that they uncover undeniable evidence of fraud. The truth is, it is undeniable evidence that the election is rubbish, even if it's not fraud. It will be undeniable evidence of election incompetence. So I don't think we have to read fake news. Yeah, I mean, you can read it yourself. It's easy to find. Google, will push all of them in your face. So based on forensic audit that Biden lost, I think this is not exactly correct for Trump to say, but given the number of disputed votes, there's a high chance that Trump may actually flip. But within the audit, none of the audits actually reported that Trump won. They only say these are the discrepancy, these are the problems, these are the issues, these are the things that is weird, and these are the things that is not balanced. And that's what the audit does, and rightfully so, because it should not be partisan. It should be a fair, balanced audit to discover what is the problems within the election. And so for Trump to say that he's jumping the gun, I feel he might actually get the flip, but the problem is bigger than just who won. Trump, of course, going to say he won, but the problem is the election cannot be trusted now. Mail-in ballots, mail-in voting cannot be trusted now, and that's the biggest problem I think Americans are facing now. So they say that the review found Joe Biden beat Donald Trump by 45,000 votes. I'm gonna put this simply. That means within this county, he won by 45,000 votes based on the ballots that is counted. But if within the ballots that's counted, there are duplicate votes, there are votes that are not supposed to be there, there are votes by dead people, there are votes by people who don't live in the county, there are votes by people who don't even live at the address that the vote is mailed from. You can count 1,000,000 times more, of course you're still going to get the same result, because you're counting in all the ballots that is not supposed to be counted in. And that was what the audit shows. It shows that there are a lot of discrepancy within the ballots, and then they recommend further investigations. And that's what I think Arizona is trying to do now. They're going to go into legislation and lawsuits to remedy all these things. So it's not this. So see, all this headline it just give me headache. Shows Biden won more votes than Trump. Nobody reports. You see, no one reports the truth. No one reports what was audited. And then they try to stir up more shit, stir up more drama by saying that the audit backers turn on each other. And then immediately they added in the subtitle that the audit show, if anything, Joe Biden won the state by even more votes than previously realized. Cue the GOP panic. This guy is dreaming. That's exactly not what is happening on the ground. So I wrote an article for Defense Politics Asia, and I specifically covered the fake news. And I can go through, and through this article you'll be able to see what is presented in a very summarized, too long didn't read way. It's still rather long because so much information is being presented in this election audit report. So in Arizona election audit results reporting shows how the media is manipulating the public via misinformation. This is exactly what I was talking about, and it's something that I wrote. So if you go through, you can actually I will put these two links in the comments below, in the description below. You can, if you're really free, you can actually go and watch it yourself. Is 3 hours, so it's understandably long. And why I have to put both is because both of them take from the live stream from the Arizona website, government website, but the streaming is not perfect. It breaks. So there's one part where it broke, and then the person did not refresh the web page fast enough, so you have to go to the other stream to actually catch the missing parts. So first we have Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai. So he basically has some key findings. So he found 34,000 duplicates. And then the biggest problem that he found is that a lot of the votes have literally no signature, or you can't really tell that it's a signature being approved, verified and approved as a ballot. And the worst thing is that this weird no signature or poor signature or illegible signature approved votes is way more often than common 4 days after election. You can see 4 weeks before election, there's very few illegible signatures, but 4 days after the election is a huge majority of them is actually that's the case. So that's one of the biggest thing from Mr. Shiva, Dr. Shiva. So you can see the anomaly, you can see the spike. So by right, everything should follow the spikes. Everything should follow the spike, because by probability, it shouldn't vary that much. But you see, there's this one more spike of duplicates happening when everything just comes down. And you can see here as well, there's this scribbled and blank votes that shoots up after the election day, and it's huge amount of votes that are having this problem. Is this vote dumping? We don't know. Is this fraud? It has signs of it. So shouldn't people want to know more or investigate? No, it's a bogus audit. It's a bogus audit. And even when he looks into the duplicates and versus what was reported, they only reported 2,000 for duplicates. Here 9,300 was detected to be duplicates. 17,000 was identified during this audit as duplicates. However, when they matched the duplicates, what was reported, only 2,000 was actually matched. Do you understand what this means? The original system says that 9,300 people voted duplicates. However, the audit found 17,000. But found 17,000, but only 2,000 of it is actually the same ones that was reported. That means it's more than 17,000. Then what happened to the other 600 over this EV33 that was reported to be duplicates? What happened to them? And weird stuff, more weird stuff. You can see this is a chop, this is a stamp, but the stamp is behind this triangle. I'm not sure if this is a scanning problem. Whether the scanner automatically remove anything that's within the triangle, or this just not normal. So many slides, so many things. And then we come to the cyber ninjas. So in the cyber ninjas, they have a very robust counting. They have 3% counting the votes, and they're not allowed to talk to each other. all of the counters are all residents that have voted in the election, so it's owned by the Maricopa residents themselves, this entire count. So, but as I mentioned, if you recount votes that includes all the fraudulent ones or all the problematic ones, of course you're going to get back the same number of votes, right? You receive 10,000 votes to recount, you're going to get 10,000 votes. And this percentage of votes between who voted Trump and who voted Biden, this is not going to change. These are factual. The problem is, are these votes valid? But this was not really, reported. It's not really reported. They only say, oh, Biden won more votes than Trump. The audit that they say that is a sham, that is bogus, found that the calculation was wrong, and there was actually more votes for Biden because of the duplication. I think it's because of the duplicates and something like that. And this supposed to be a sham. They now say that, oh, Biden won more. They just discredited the entire audit, and then now they want to say that the audit shows that Biden won more votes. Which one do you want? Is the audit a sham or it's not? So you can see that expected soon. They are still trying to get more audit to be done. They are not complete yet. So they are going to do paper analysis, and they're going to do further review of the routers and the log, and I'm not sure where that will lead to. So a lot of the things that they are supposed to do is gone. So they cannot do canvas to confirm voter rolls. It was removed. They cannot review the devices. They cannot review provisional ballots, etc., etc. And this was a lot of the cases because of opposition from the Democrats as well as from Maricopa County, and it's extreme amount of obstruction against what should be something of justice, right? So you can, if you feel that the audit is not going to be that good, you can always send people, and you can just request, I want to send my own people to look at to observe the audit. They could have done that, but they prefer to just call it as a sham before they ever even seen anything. So this is the part. There's the duplicate, and the duplicate, once they found this duplicate and then they balanced it out, that's where they found Biden won slightly more votes. See, because of that, after the tallying, Trump lost 261 votes, Biden gains 99 votes. This is the only thing that the media is reporting on. They don't really care about everything else, because what comes later is worse. They at least found one batch of 50, ran through the tabulator twice, and then they found ballots being double counted. So they also say, this is something that I keep repeating, election system should be balanced. So if 10 mailed, 10 voted early, 10 voted on election day, then there should be 30 ballots. But somehow, this US election, I think this is not just Maricopa, I think it's the same problem across the entire United States, that nothing balances. So you see the official canvas have 3,400 more ballots casted than the list of people that showed having cast a vote. This should be a concern. This should already cause you to pause the entire election and say, no, something is wrong. Nothing can be verified. We need to check why has this happened. The 9,041 million voters show returning more ballots than they were sent. Again, another issue that should have stopped the election and rendered the entire election inaccurate, and it should be redone. So I don't want to go through every single point. There's so many points. And then not just that, another presentation by the cyber ninjas. They talk about how all the data and logs are being deleted, where they are not supposed to touch the devices after election for maybe 2 years or 1 year. They're not supposed to change anything, but somehow someone logged in into the devices and deleted stuff. And then they're not supposed to connect to the internet, but they found evidence that the devices were connected to the internet. And they also found that the devices are not following the laws that they keep saying that they are following in regard to systems used in election. So they found a lot of stuff being deleted. I have no idea what are all these things. So much. You're not reading all these things in the media. So they have recommendations, and I can tell you, none of the conclusions say that Trump won. They are really neutral. They're just reporting what they found. And they have all the recommendations that are very balanced. They basically just say that you should do this. If not, next time you're not going to be able to audit properly as well. And you should, do that so that, the election can be secure. It was a really professional, to me, it's really professional. I don't really see any problems in regards to all this. So what happens is that in this audit, they have a third count. So you have an official count, and then you have the audit count, and then there is another third party count by the Senate. They have Randy Pullen, who was the former chairman for the Arizona Republican Party, and then he was in charge to oversee the third count, so that the Senate themselves have a kind of a sensing, which side's counting is correct, just in case. So the count is not much difference. It's around, the official has more votes, and then the machine count, which is this third party count, has 121 less, and the forensic audit actually have 994 less. It's not that much, but still, you shouldn't have any votes that is missing. I have no idea why that's the case. This should not be the case. Every vote counts. And so he highlighted a lot of problems. So he said that missing signatures on ballot envelopes, and it shows the election legislation that shows that this is not correct and it's a crime. Original duplicated ballots, missing chain of custody, all these are against the law. So how to summarize the entire election audit? I think the one Senator Warren Peterson, he had a closing statement, and he have 8 points to highlight. And then I think this really sums up the entire election audit very well. He said the number one, the most unsettling thing for him is the obstruction by the county. So he said that there's a brazen willingness to violate legal subpoena against the law, and then the county also expended significant resources and human capital to stop the audit. So this point to me as well is the same. I actually feels the same way, that the moment you have the county fighting against an audit, then something is wrong. It's simple as that. So number two, the numbers don't reconcile. This is something that I kept repeating even since the election. Before the election was certified as a Biden victory, I was already whining a lot about this. I in Singapore, election is really, really sacred. Every number balances. Every number. The number of the observers is all hand counted, and there is never any problems with election counting. I don't understand how can the numbers not reconcile. This is anything that if there's any this kind of thing happen in Singapore, the election is forfeited. It's forfeited. No one would trust the election. But somehow the election can go on in USA. Always been like this. Even Obama time, then Trump's first election, the same problems. It was not resolved. Then 2020 again, but Trump have to pay for it. So the law is broken for ballot duplication, churning of logs. That means the logs are being deleted, or chain of custody issues, failure to preserve data files, cybersecurity weaknesses, and envelopes with blank signatures. So these are the things that he's concerned about. And he said that the next steps would be legislation and law enforcement. This is the true summary of the election audit. It is not that Biden won. The entire hearing says nothing of Biden and Trump. They never say who won. It is all about the audit. It's about how the thing is done, what was done, what was the problems. And unfortunately, the kind of reporting that the media reports is horrendous. So I strongly encourage anyone to, if you want to find the truth, always listen to the actual hearing, listen to the actual, be it what kind of hearing, listen to the press conference yourself. Don't depend on the media to summarize things for you, because they are now so partisan that and so invested in manipulating your emotions and your opinions that they can no longer be trusted. So that's it for the Arizona audit. If I'm not wrong, this audit report have caused a lot of worries and concern across the entire United States. So according to Karen Fan, who was the chair for this, she mentioned that 18 states have sent a representative to this hearing, and as a result, Texas is going to do a full forensic audit for 4 counties, 2 of the biggest for Democrats and 2 of the biggest counties for the Republicans. And then other than that, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, they are also seeking to review their election. And then within Arizona, again, they're going to, now they intend to, one of the congressmen, I think, is pushing for an audit for Pima County, which is the 2nd largest county in Arizona. So, and I think I hear from Dr. Steve, I think, one of the biggest, one of the bigger political commentator that's pro-Trump. He mentioned that there's a letter that is signed by, I think, 80 or 40 senators or congressmen, I think House of Representatives, that they wanted the entire 50 states to have an audit. So I haven't saw the article on that yet. I merely listened to the YouTube video from him, and it just shows that the true current is actually pushing towards a massive review of the 2020 election before the next before the midterms. And it's not what the media reporting, as if this is just another rubbish audit and then you can just forget about it. It's not the case. This is making wave, huge wave, and I believe that there's more to come. So I will drop this link below for this article that I wrote. It's a really long one for them, Defense Politics Asia, and I will drop the 2 links for the full audit report. So hopefully it will give you some kind of a better and more balanced opinion about what this Arizona election audit entails and what would be the repercussions. So fingers crossed, and hopefully we'll see things change, because I know some of you are complaining that no, I'm not American, then why do I care? The main problem is whatever happened in the United States affects the entire world. You guys elected Biden, and then we, people from around the world, I'm halfway around the world, we are going to suffer the consequences. If your election is this corrupted and you are supposed to be the leader of the world, we are not voters. We can't vote in the US election. That's the truth. And if you, this is why I know how to put it. This is why I care, because if the US election cannot be fixed, then I may not even see Trump again, and maybe another rubbish candidate is going to become president. We will be in deep trouble, and the worst case will be that a massive kinetic war might happen because of misjudgment or poor decisions by the US president, or by the House of Representatives, or by the senators in the Senate, and they pass poor laws and poor legislations to deal with perhaps China or North Korea, and then first to go, us, people in Asia. So this is why non-Americans actually care. Not a lot, because a lot of people just read BBC, ABC, Fox News, CNN, they especially MSNBC, they don't really understand what's happening, all this undercurrent that's happening. And that's why I'm doing my little part to try to educate and try to share what is actually happening. And hopefully we don't come back with Kamala Harris as president for another 4 years. Yep, so that's about it. So if you like the kind of work that I do, please subscribe to the channel, please like the video, and if you can, share this video to your friends, and hopefully we will have a better future. And I think we might be able to have a much better future coming forward. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.